Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Monday Motivation. I'm joined, as always, by Goran Vazovic.
How's it going, Daniel and everybody?
Super good. So, Goran just came back from... Tell us a little bit about it.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
He's been doing that around the office all day.
I just came back from 5 intense days of Business Mastery 2017 Florida. Which, if you don't know, is a Tony Robbins sponsored event / seminar where it's basically essentially a boot camp where about 2,000 people showed up.
Dang.
And did 5 days in a row, about 16 hours a day of hardcore work to basically come back and just crush it, rock it out, and just make themselves and their business more successful.
Yeah, and Goran, as CEO of our company, went out as the kind of the envoy, the person who's going to take all this information, bring it back, take that shot of adrenaline and put it right back in the heart of our company, which is always good to feel.
That's right. I mean, you probably didn't even notice. I just got an Amazon box, and it has, I think, 3 of his books. So not all, but 3 of his books, and I bought a bunch of copies. So look out, everybody. I'm going to be giving those away on social media.
Books coming quick.
Books coming quick and throughout the office. So I'm always, pumped up, jazzed up, and when I get a hold of something, I just gotta crush it all the way 150,000%.
And that's good news for those listeners of ours who like and know how to read.
Right. Hey, and if you don't, and
we'll read it to you.
Daniel will read it to you, or I'll buy you a gift card for Audible so you can listen to it.
Perfect. So we talked a little bit. What's the topic today? I know you brought something back that is an often championed phrase in the Tony Robbins world. What is it? Share it with us.
So, we had discussed what we're going to be doing the Monday Motivation about, and I just said, well, there's like 1,001 things that we could discuss and talk about, but one phrase that stood out for me the most, and what Tony was talking about, that resonates with me even now, and it's true that the secret of living is giving. And what that means to me from a personal perspective, what that means to me from a business perspective, and then I asked you, hey, what does that mean to you? So again, that phrase kind of stuck out to me the most, and a lot of times I think people forget, especially in business, it's not all about take, and then you receive only a fraction, when in fact it's the opposite. The more you give, the more value you provide to customers, to your employees, etc., the more comes back to you. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I had a realization as well. I read through Marshall Saunders' book. We'll give him a quick shout out. We have
What's it called?
M3 Mindset, Metrics.
Methods and Metrics. Come on.
I was in the wrong order.
Come on, man.
I was too busy with the middle of the book that I didn't keep reading the front.
I can't believe it. Shout out to Mr.
Saunders. But really what I realized from him is how valuable your network can be in terms of growing your business. And the best way to kind of tap into that is to actually give them a ton of value all the time. And there's a lot of people that you can go out there and meet and try and generate business that way, by solicitation, by marketing. But really, think of all the people you have in your life that you're too busy to spend time with because you're working. What if you could do both at the same time and be able to push those two together, have a better social life, have a better life and more time with your friends, family, but also use that to help grow your business as well. That to me is the dream situation, and that's what I'm trying to do right now, is trying to give value to all my friends and family.
Yeah, and I wish I could tell you that, hey, I got the secret sauce and everything, but I'm still, struggling with the same thing, is how you give, the enough attention and time to everybody where everybody seems, satisfied. So, I mean, going back to it, and, now that we know the phrase as far as now, secret to life or secret to living is giving, what does that phrase mean to you? And how do you, how do you utilize that in your day-to-day business? And then I can reflect at how I see you doing that.
Yeah,
without maybe you even knowing.
Let me think about that. So, living is giving. The ways that I always try and give back. One of the simplest ways is anytime I want something from somebody, I never come to them empty-handed and say, hey.
Message.
Yeah. I never say, hey, can you just show me how to do this? Or can you just do this for me? I'm always trying to bring some value as well. So, for example, if I have a deal that I need some sort of help on, I'm going to say, hey, would you help me with this deal that I may not understand?
Right.
And then, for that, I'd also like to cut you into this deal so I can learn and you're also compensated for something. That doesn't happen anymore. I now know everything about real estate, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a dramatic eye roll over there, and it was well-deserved.
Almost everything.
Yeah.
We haven't taught you everything yet.
They're holding back the secret black diamond level.
That's right. Well, yeah, you could, get to the black diamond, but there's a membership fee and all that. You have to pay the dues above and beyond.
All right. Well, living is giving. I'm ready to give you that.
So, I'm glad, you kind of said that, and I wanted to reflect as far as how I see, that phrase being a positive attribute to who you are as a person within VSM, which holds very true. You came into the organization about 14 months ago, 12 months ago,
Yeah.
As a regular old real estate agent, and you've killed it. You got real estate portfolio that you're still developing and doing as we speak. You are closing massive amounts of transactions, and we recently promoted you executive vice president of VSM Real Estate.
Pause for applause.
Yes, here you go. So, and none of that happened by you coming to my office or Ryan's office, just saying, "Hey, here I am. What can you give me today?" So you pretty much came with it. You said, "Hey, just give me the opportunity to learn," and you drove, developed, and deliver the value in what you can do. And you do that every single day. When, we're short on leasing, you step in, you're like, hey, I can do it. I can offer assistance and my time to other agents who need more help. So we don't have to be involved. I can, I can do X, Y, Z. It's just the mindset that you have where, hey, it's not all about me or how I can, get ahead. It's about how we all can move forward by utilizing, all of our efforts together. And you're, the prime example of somebody that steps up in time of need, where it's important. And that's, in more instances than not, I can remember that you give more than you ever receive. But that comes back to you, in other ways,
right?
Through referrals, et cetera, that translate into actual dollars, which is what everybody's about. But again, I think the biggest hurdle that a lot of people have to jump over is really just the mindset, and you have the right mindset. And I feel 80% of anything in life and business or personal, it's psychological, and 20% is actually mechanical, or what you know or what you learn as a skill as you develop. So it's just super important. And you came with that psychology, the right psychology, which was your 80%, and the 20% you learn on your job, which is what made you successful. And you did it through giving a lot more, and that came back to you, which is, again, speaks for itself only 12 months ago.
Right. And I think too, that's giving me a lot of credit, where I think you guys also deserve a lot. We're gonna have a quick love fest here, everybody. But that mindset was really instilled in me, and the leadership of you and Ryan and what you guys had accomplished.
Thank
so I
you.
saw what you had done and saw the mindset that you had, and realized that, okay, well, I need to adopt it if I want to be like these guys. And I really did from day one. I'm like, I think these are cool guys, and I want to be like them.
And that's freaking awesome. And like I said, there's so many topics that we could talk about, and a lot of topics kind of crisscrossed, each other's path, especially that the 80-20 that I was talking about, the psychology versus the mechanics, which was a huge talking point of the seminar that I went to. I mean, the main bullet points is really just, the secret of living is giving, the 80-20 rule when it comes to psychology versus mechanics, how that relates to your personal life and business. And a lot of it, or 80% of it, stemmed to getting our minds right.
Yeah.
So we can come back here and deliver, the right results. Because if our mind wasn't in the right place, no matter what they said, no matter what equation they gave us for quote unquote success, it wouldn't have worked, because we wouldn't have done anything about it, because the mindset wasn't there. So, yeah.
And then, I think when you hear a statement too, like the living is giving, I think one of the easiest ways to conceptualize it is to kind of look at the inverse and some of the misconceptions that people have about people in business in general, where I think a lot of times, I've definitely heard the stereotype, I don't know if you have, of to get ahead in business, you need to step on everyone's throat on the way up and be that merciless person moving forward.
I just don't think it's true. And I
don't either.
Kind of the brief history of VSM and how we started, and what's making us move forward, other than a lot of innovation, talented people, etc. We started with the mindset of giving more to our customers than we ever received. So whatever the fees are, whatever the services were, we just went above and beyond. And by doing that, we started forward in the right direction by having that mindset of, hey, we're going to be giving a lot more than we're receiving. And you can see, not in our balance sheets to whatever else from year one to now, as far as the amount of time, the energy, the whatever we've given, that's now ultimately, came back to us, tenfold, because we had our, the right foot forward when we began. And so many people, like you said, go in the business and try to achieve success by just taking.
Yeah. And I think too that it's just so beautiful, because a lot of times our frustration, so I think frustration and people's lack of feeling good in general tends to stem from two places in modern society.
Yep.
Number one, I'll briefly mention but won't address in too much detail, but I think it's the lack of having any sort of challenge or obstacle to overcome.
Yep.
Where, we've been struggling to eat for our entire history until the last couple hundred years.
Yep.
But then number two is also this weird kind of isolation that we've created for ourselves, and not making those human person-to-person connections anymore. And I have kind of a fun story from yesterday. Yeah,
Go.
So I went out to look at a property for one of our owners, and he was like, hey, my property might go look at the condition of it. Let me know, report back. So I go and I take one of our agents. We'll give a shout out to David Lee. And we get in the property and we go downstairs. They're looking at the boiler and everything. And the tenant comes down and he's got a bunch of turntables in there and a bunch of, music, recording equipment.
Right.
We just sat there and just, just jawed and talked and went back and forth and asked him about his stuff, talked about our music.
Did you start a freestyle?
I did, yes.
I know turntables, DJ, freestyle. Oh, here we go.
Yes.
And why wasn't that recorded?
So yeah, you can catch my live stream every. No, I'm just kidding. But no, honestly, we talked to this guy for over an hour about his DJing.
Yeah.
And it was one of my favorite experiences that I've had going to a property and speaking with a tenant, an owner, anybody, just because he was just genuinely excited about what he was doing. And it was actually really, really cool and really interesting. And it's, I think it's easy to get selfish with your time and be like, oh, I got to go. I got another appointment, blah, blah, blah. But that to me, whether or not it meant anything to this guy, whether or not it ever turns into business,
right.
I enjoyed it. And I allowed myself to enjoy having a good connection with someone else, and hopefully left a good impression and hit with him as well.
Plus, it was genuine. It was something that you were interested in. It wasn't forced. It was you didn't feel like pressure. Oh, I'm gonna give this guy time because he may be a customer in the future. For my brokerage business. It was it has to all come from the right place, and a lot of people want to do it to get something in return, and it doesn't work like that. You really have to go with the right mindset of never getting anything out of it and showing your true self and being 100% genuine. So if you're like, and I've had those situations where I've went to owners and they've had some crazy stories, and I was like, wow, let's talk about that for 90% of our conversation, 10% is going to be about real estate. So I appreciate it. I think you did the right thing, which again makes us a human company.
Right. And I mean, it's fun, and you just got to allow yourself permission to have fun interacting with people again. You can't be we're pretty regimented, especially I'm talking more to the type A people out there who are go-getters, really motivated.
Right.
Like, if you allow yourself the freedom to just have a conversation with someone and relax a little bit, you could even hear it in my voice right there, right?
Right.
You're going to have a much better time.
Like we are now. And I feel like for us to do this week in and week out, on top of our regular podcasts, I think a lot of people, and we would also get bored with ourselves if it wasn't genuine, that we actually enjoy talking to each other and look forward to doing the Monday motivation. So again, it will not work if it's not genuine, not forced. You will not get consistency that you need and you want by doing this. So it's super important that it has to be coming from the right place.
And here's a key differentiator. I think, too, if you're the type of person who tends to be a little self-conscious, so you're afraid to go out and you're afraid to start living by giving.
Right, and who isn't? I mean, everybody is.
Yeah, it's easy because there's the fear of rejection.
Right.
What I loved about this guy that I met, I'll give him a shout out. He's a DJ out there. So look up Antoine Lightfoot. Check his stuff out. He's amazing. But really what attracts people to you, if you're passionate and really passionate about it, and when you start talking to someone, they can see that passion.
Right.
And if it's something they're relatively familiar with, they're going to be right with you, and that's a great way to make a connection.
For sure. And to wrap this up, but not to go off topic too, you mentioned passion. You can kind of feel that they really wanted. When I was down there at the seminar in Florida, they had the co-founder of Airbnb basically go up on stage and tell his story about how he started. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to start doing Airbnb. It was all these other things that he did and didn't work out, but he has such a passion behind it that he made it, or he willed it into making it happen. And that's what you need. I mean, this guy's worth like $3.2 billion, but he still's got the hunger that's, he's got $20 in his pocket. It was truly amazing.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Not only having the passion, but sharing it with others is I think going to be the key to success, and something that I'm really endeavoring to put on the top of my priority list in 2017.
For sure. And yeah, we'll talk more about my 5-day experience. Maybe we do a whole podcast.
Oh yeah.
Chop that up in a couple different sections. Exactly. But for right now, like I said, the secret of living is what?
Giving.
That's right, everybody.
No doubt. Let's sign it out.
Awesome.